Okay, so this is how you do a Lazertran inkjet non-porous surface transfer. First of all, I made an image that I wanted to transfer. I broke it up into sections so that I could print it on 11 by 17 paper. This is the largest size you can get of Lazertran, and you have to order it online. If you Google Lazertran, that's how you find it. A few things before you start. When working with turpentine, which is necessary for this, you need to wear a mask. It's better to wear a full mask because you need eye protection with turpentine, but in this case I am a poor college student and I will wear this instead. Second, always put turpentine in a glass or metal container. Do not use plastic, styrofoam, or anything of the sort because it will melt it. And finally, try not to get it on your hands. Technically I should be wearing gloves, but because I'm doing something that requires a lot of dexterity and very careful touches, I'm not going to. So, things you need. You need hot water, a couple of cheap brushes. I use sponge brushes in this case. Some oil varnish, clear, in case you want to make it extra clear. Okay. Your turpentine, lots of paper towels, non-porous surface, in this case I'm using glass, and Lazertran. Lazertran looks like a really thick matte style paper. One side is sort of an off-white and the other side is a more eggshell color. You can tell which side you're supposed to print on when you see it, trust me. Alright, so obviously since I broke this up into sections, this is my first piece. First thing I want to do is I want to decide where I'm going to put it. In this case I'm going to put it right here. You know, make sure that you've mapped out where things are and that they're the right size. Then I'm going to use my sponge brush. Get just a little turpentine. It does not take much. If you get too much, wipe it off on something, paper towels preferably. Put a thin layer of it on here. If I get too much on there, then all I need to do is get a paper towel, swipe it really quick. I don't need to be all sensitive about it. It's not a really serious process. The Lazertran, however, is pretty delicate. So then what I'm going to do is put the Lazertran through hot water. Warm water is best, not so hot and not cold, not tepid. And what happens is the image, the ink on the surface of the paper begins to separate from the paper. When this happens, you can sort of feel it with your fingers, so you know when it's time to pull it out. If you get it too separated before you're ready, you're not going to be able to transfer it properly. Next thing you want to do, put it face down on the paper towels. Get some more paper towels and pat it dry. Do not be very firm with this. You don't want to get it completely dry. You don't want to leave it wet. So then, lift my image, and as you can see, the image is separating from the paper. Position it right where I want it. Line up my surface just so. This is easier with smaller pieces, obviously. I recommend only working with the larger pieces if you've had a lot of practice, which I have, and even I still mess up sometimes. And what happens is the image literally comes away from the paper. And onto the surface. Now, I'm going to take my turpentine brush again and go back over the surface, completely adhere it to the glass using the turpentine. What this does is it has a chemical reaction with the Lazertran paper that causes it to bond with the glass. This is a lot like the impermanent temporary tattoos that you can print on your own computer, but a little more artsy-fartsy and temperamental. You don't want any bubbles. If you see them, you do whatever it takes to get them out. In my case, I'm not really worried about breaking my paper. I'm actually going for a degraded effect, so I can use a nylon bristle brush, a little more turpentine. The more turpentine you use, the faster your image will come apart, so the less you use, the more stable and single piece it will remain. I want it to be full of holes and gross and ugly. Alright, so no bubbles that I can see. Again, keeping bubbles out is easier with smaller pieces. And then as it dries, it will become more and more clear. If I want to make it even more clear, I can add the varnish. Just to give you an idea, I'll add just a little bit. Doesn't take much. This stuff goes a long way, and it's a lot like glue, so you really, really, really need to clean your brushes after. And another thing is that you need to go both directions, vertically and horizontally, when brushing this stuff on. And what this will do is it'll make it clear, dry even clearer. Usually I wait until my Lazertran has completely dried before I add more varnish. But in this case, I'm actually going for something that looks really disgusting and not finished or perfect, so I don't mind. Ready, lift. So now you can sort of see what Lazertran looks like without its base paper. Also always have tweezers on hand, because sometimes a hair or something may get into your image while it's still wet, and if this happens, you're going to want to get it out really fast because it will lift the ink away from the image. Obviously this is a very sensitive process.